Anyway, hello. It's been a while. Sometimes you have a lot to say and then you just remain silent for a long time just because you get tired of talking. You just want to keep to yourself, you know. You shouldn't force it. I learned not to force it. I've nothing in particular to talk about except a couple of things about why I don't go to church. Now, I don't encourage that or I don't condone it, but there's a reason why so many of us don't go to church. And believe me, we suffer from it. It's not like we enjoy not going, because there's nothing more sacred, nothing more joyful to any believer than to be in a fellowship with fellow believers. Now, don't worry, God puts believers in my path almost on a daily basis. He reminds me. But it's just, I don't know what's going on today. Not that I have a lot of experience going to churches, but God knows I tried. Let me give you an example. To me, first of all, a church is a family. I don't like big churches because you get lost. You can't even talk to the pastor, who's so busy with different things, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Having said that, let me tell you why I try to go to church, but I get discouraged very fast. Because the people that tell me come to my church, they behave in a manner where if I'm going to go to that church and see believers like you, forget about it. I'd rather stay away. And if you like me, dealing with people is such, I don't want to say a burden, but it's just like it takes so much out of me that I'd rather be somewhat alone. I get out once in a while, but what for? Recently, I wanted to invite somebody to dinner. I'll cook for them. I'm not asking them for money, or I'm not asking them for anything. This is a believer. I'll just give you an example. And there's like no response. It's like I'm asking him for $1 million. And he wants me to go to his church. Why? In the Bible, in Matthew 5:41, I'll give you a background on this story. Jesus says, "If this is a red letter, Jesus speaking, and if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles." Now, in this is the ESV, the Alexandria text, but in the King James, if anyone asks you. The fact that in those days in the Roman Empire, a Roman soldier can force you to carry some of the things he's carrying, because they used to carry a lot of things, the sword, the shield, and other stuff that he was doing something. And if he asked a Jew, which to them was like slaves, to carry, you have to carry his stuff for him. But Jesus here uses this parable and speaks maybe to another believer. Somebody asks you to walk a mile. Walk a mile. He says, walk 2 miles. I'm asking you to come to dinner. It's like the world is going to end soon. I don't understand that. Now, why would I want to come to your church? I know I may be nitpicking, but it's true. It's true. You ask me for anything, I'm there. You ask me for anything. Oh, you call them. They don't even call you back. You're not asking them for money. You're not asking them for anything. You might want to do them the favor. That's one example. Another example, and I'm not mentioning names or whatever. If you see the video, you'll see it. Maybe you can learn something from it. Is another man, a believer, my age. I'm in a conversation. I haven't seen him for a long time. And I'm complimenting somebody about his success. And I use a word that in Arabic that I don't have a clue what it means, but in the context of my speech, I was praising him. And 2 minutes later I hear, oh, why did you use that word? That's not a good word. If anybody heard you talk like this, they don't think you're a Christian. And I just, I remain silent because I nothing worse than a legalist. My first example is a hypocrite. This example is a legalist. You know those legalists? Like the Pharisees, they burden you with things. Charles Spurgeon, in the 19th century, probably one of the best preachers of all time in that century, used to smoke a cigar after a sermon. And he did a lot of sermons a day. Well, you're going to tell him, why do you smoke a cigar? You know what I'm saying? Now, these same people, when you tell you, oh, you uttered a word that's not nice. I didn't even know that it wasn't nice. So what? Why don't you look at yourself? You're on Facebook telling people you live up high on the hills. Look at this view. Look at what I got. Look at I finished church. Now I'm at the beach. And I mean, what about the people that don't have homes? Parishioners, people maybe in your congregation, or they're hurting financially. They want to see this. You see where I'm going with this? People are such legalists, believers. We are in a bad state of affairs here in the church. Really, really bad state. Your journey with Christ is different than the next guy. You may be ahead of him. You may not be. You may think that you are. So you tell people what to do and how to say. Why does it concern you? Even if he's not a believer, or you doubt that he is, what does that concern you? If you don't have encouraging words, you should remain silent. Matthew 7 talks about the hypocrites and the plank in the eye. People got 4x4 post in their eyes, and it obstructs their vision. They can't see straight. Yet these same people are like judging others for silly things. Why don't you judge yourself? In Corinthians, I can't remember if it's 13 or it says, if you judge yourself, nobody else can judge you. You examine yourself first before you open your stupid mouth and say these things. Maybe I'm at a point in my journey with Christ that is not up to standards with yours. You want to give me a piece of advice? Why don't you let me give you a piece of advice? I just did. Just examples, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I haven't talked for a long time, but for what it's worth, for you guys that don't believe in the true God, don't judge Christ and his kingdom with us. We always fall short. That's why we tell you to look at Christ. He's our example. We're weak, we fall short. We don't tell you to follow us. So wise up, because we're running out of time. Or you may be running out of time. Really, the time is, 60 to 80 years a person lives? That's what you need to worry about. Don't worry about the end times, or when is this going to happen, or the sky is falling, or the market is crashing. Worry about your eternal life. And you might want to ask to get introduced to what's called eternal life, is knowing the Father. the true God. He will do that through Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm not going to preach at you. I just wanted to give you an encouraging word about, please, don't judge Christianity, because that's what I've been dealing with online with so-called Christians. First of all, number one, you don't know if they truly are Christians or followers of Jesus. Two, they might be acting in the flesh. Three, they might be in a period of time where they're not really showing themselves as ambassadors to Christ. I've been there. Okay? You worry about yourself and let others worry about themselves. I'm telling you, every time I hear this lady sing, it's just amazing. It's just like she's talking about the Lord. Sometimes I wonder. Ciao.